The most compelling argument for a hold was to achieve more clarity in the evolution of key macroeconomic indicators, including budget implementation, economic recovery, exchange rate, inflation, and employment generation. In consideration of the headwinds confronting the domestic economy and the uncertainties in the global environment, the committee decided by a vote of 6-1 to retain the monetary policy rate, MPR, at 14% alongside all other policy parameters. In arriving at this hold decision, the MPC commits to employing maximum flexibility to guide the economy on the path of optimal growth. Consequently, 6 members voted to retain MPR and all other parameters at their current levels, while 1 member voted to lower the MPR to signal an ease to the current stance of tight monetary policy. However, overall, majority of the members expressed a strong commitment to policy flexibility that would allow the committee to promptly take the necessary actions that would promote overall macroeconomic stability and engender sustainable growth. Consequently, the MPC voted to 1. Retain the MPR at 14%, 2. Retain the CRR at 22.5%, 3. Retain liquidity ratio at 30%, and 4. Retain the asymmetric corridor at plus 200 and minus 500 basis points around the MPR. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so very much, Governor. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it appears there won't be any questions today, but if you must ask questions, can you come up here, please? Questions, and of course you understand the House rules. Questions and comments must be limited to the subject matter of the communique. Thank you. Your name, and then your organization, and then your question. Please, one question.
My name is Fred Ideha. I report for LTV, Lagos Television. My question is, Mr. Governor, for some time, you have held virtually all parameters in your decision. What time do you think will be ripe for you to vary your decision? And what condition, by way of inflation and exchange rate figures, will warrant any change in your decision?
Thank you.
Hey, Governor, my name is Udo. I work for Premium Times. So there's a report in the media that the CBN is overfunding the federal government beyond the threshold that's approved in the books. I don't know whether you can have a comment on this issue so that we know exactly whether the CBN is on the right track, whether it is against the issues, criticism that we're having in the media. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Governor. My name is Oyewachku from Business Day newspaper. Governor, mine is on the rising non-performing loans, which you also talked about. Is it possible you tell us the level of NPLs in the banks as we speak? And then can you also tell us how vulnerable our banks are on account of these rising non-performing loans? And then whether you have seen any trace of insider abuse that has led to this?
Okay, that's it? Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Governor. I'm Nancy Naji, Moneyline with Nancy on AIT. I would be asking you the question. I want to know how worried the MPC is about credit support to MSMEs and private sector, because as much as it's been done, different interventions here and there, businesses around the country still find it difficult to access credit. What is the MPC doing as a body to, I wouldn't say coerce the banks right now, or persuade the banks to lend to private sector, to lend to businesses around the country without so much a constraint? The other question is, I would want to know if the CBN, if the MPC rather, how ready the MPC would be if the geopolitical tensions escalate, if external developments escalate, how ready would the MPC be? Would we have a buffer? Of course, geopolitical tension, US and North Korea. We also have the diplomatic ones around all producing countries and all of that will affect oil price. Are we ready to face any shock in case it happens? Thank you.
Thank you. The very last one.
I'm just worried about the CRR still at 25%. I know some analysts I've spoken with were of the view that it should have been reduced, maybe so that they can have, so that we can actually give money to the real sector, and also looking at the expansionary benefits by giving money to the hands of people. Maybe it should have been reduced. Why did MPC still retain it at the same price? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the very last one.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Governor, I just want to ask, how far has NAFEX met your expectations?
Thank you, Mr. Governor.
Well, thank you very much. Let me first take on the issue of whether or not CBN is overfunding the federal government beyond the threshold. Well, I know that this is arising from what Premium Times took out from or called out of the personal statements of one of our MPC members. The fact that MPC members are allowed to make personal statements without being coerced, without any censorship, should tell all of us or further confirm the fact that our MPC members are independent-minded people who, based on data presented to them, form their judgments and take their decisions at the point when we take votes. But I think I must say that the Nigerian Central Bank remains one of the most, based on this, remains one of the most transparent central banks in the world, because if you read the if you read either the statements, decisions of monetary policy by some other monetary policy authorities, you will find that they are not as detailed or providing the level of transparency that we have displayed. But I think it's important that I stress the fact that the federal government and the central bank, or central bank, we must realize that the central bank is not just banker to government, but also an advisor to the government. And of course, also a lender of last resort, both to the banks and also to the government. But talking of issues that were raised, which one had to do with increase or purchase of treasury bills, there is nothing illegal in that, because that is a normal open market operation activity that the central bank is allowed, or DMO, or Federal Minister of Finance, is allowed to conduct in line with its needs, in this case the federal government, but for CBN in line with its determination to use OMO as an instrument to control money supply and then see to it that its own macroeconomic objectives are achieved.